Welcome to Midlife Unplugged, the fuck it years. I'm your host, Lara Portelli. This is the space where we strip away the polite BS, rip the gloves off and get real about what it means to thrive in our second act. Each week, I'm joined by a guest who's walking their own bodacious midlife path. We're talking menopause, divorce, reinvention, and everything in between. Buckle up, because this isn't your mother's midlife crisis. This is Midlife Unplugged. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Midlife Unplugged, the fuck it years. I'm your host, Lara Portelli, and today we welcome our amazing guest all the way from South Carolina, Amy Head. Welcome, Amy. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear more about, as you know, everybody, each show I do, and every week or every episode, we have an amazing woman come on and speak about her journey through midlife, and that midlife isn't always the end, as we've been told growing up. It's definitely the beginning, and as I like to call it, the second act. So, Amy, with that being said, let's start. Tell me about your fuck it moment in life. Where did you come to, what brought you to your fuck it moment and you knew it was time to do something a little bit different?
Well, I've had a few fuck it moments, so I'm no stranger to that. But the most recent, and I feel like the most significant recently, has been about 3 years ago. I had reached a point in my business where I was really struggling to scale it, to grow it, to reach a certain level of income. And I had recently left a really rough relationship, very toxic, abusive, that kind of thing. And I had pulled myself out of the hole from that situation, and I was still, kind of working my way up. And in between all of this time, I ended up getting married, and it just never fit. What happened was I ended up going through this process of like an awakening, I guess you would call it, what a lot of people may go through. Some people may call it a midlife crisis, but for me, it was spiritual, and it was just kind of everything just kind of happened at the same time. I ended up scaling my business and growing it to a point to where I never thought that I had, a point where I never thought I would get to. I ended up taking myself to Italy and having an epiphany while I was there that I suddenly didn't want to do this career anymore. I wanted to go in a different direction. And at the same time, I realized that I didn't want to be married anymore, that it was time for me to basically kind of start over. So that's in a nutshell what started it, what happened. So that was about 3 years ago. And I completely went in a different direction with my business. I closed my studio and I went into education, and I left my marriage, moved into an apartment with my kids, and started over again.
Quite common for myself, just a little bit of background so people know as well. 3 years was for me as well. I'm coming up to my fourth year in January, where I did the same. It was nothing big. It was nothing bold. It was nothing planned. It was just done. I'm done. I'm not happy. I'm not happy in this toxic relationship of coercive control. I'm sure a lot of our listeners out there can resonate with what you and I are talking about. We are a new wave of women, us Gen X, Gen Y women, where we're just not doing it anymore, right? We've had enough. We've just,
right.
It's time. It's time for me to move on, do something different with my life. And I know for myself, I really needed to leave a lot quicker than I did. I probably could have gone 10 years earlier. And we have all that guilt that weighs down on us about my vows, and I need to stay here. I've made a promise. And as you were talking about spiritually, some women, buy into that. I made a promise, I really need to stick with this. In that whole meantime, though, we're dying. We're dying inside. Pieces of us are dying. And when that epiphany, like you spoke about, happened for you, but while you were in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, there's no going back, right? It's like a force that we can't fight with. We just, it's us. It's been sent to
Right.
us. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. And I think that there's so many women who feel like they have that pull that they're no longer happy and they want to just see what else is out there, or maybe chase a dream that they put off in order to get married and to, build the family and do all the things. And a lot of women shy away from that because they feel that guilt. But it's I've seen the other side of it. I've seen relationships where people stay too long and it just they become a shell of a person. There's no resemblance to what they used to be, and they've lost that spark, so to speak. So I think it's brave of people like yourself and myself to actually make the decision and choose ourselves. And I think that's big, and I think that's a movement that's been happening over the past few years. I've been seeing it. It seems to have gotten more popular, but not popular, but I've just noticed more people doing that, where women are just choosing themselves, choosing to leave the relationships or the marriages where they're unhappy and just going in a different direction. And it's worked out for everyone that I have seen. I have not seen anyone who has ever regretted it. That's been like, I should have stayed. I should have stayed in that relationship.
I like that. I like that it's worked out for everybody, because when you actually leave, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know the future holds. Some people leave with just the clothes on their back. And like you were saying, you moved into a different home with your children. The future's very unclear, but we just know that there's this calling for us. And we were talking spiritually earlier, the spark. It's almost like I think we all know the analogy about we get married, we lose parts of ourselves, and it's not like we do it on purpose. It's just like other people's needs have come first. We lose a little bit of our identity as the years go by. Then we find ourselves, and that spark reignites, and bravery and the courage that it takes, not only financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually as well. And you need to dig deep, and it's definitely a knowing within ourselves that everything's going to be okay. And I really like that, what you said about you don't know anyone where it hasn't worked out.
Mm-hmm. I haven't. And obviously I haven't spoken to every woman who's ever left their marriage or relationship or a job or any kind of situation where they're unhappy. But it's like you said, that pull, you have that calling, you just have that inner knowing that you're not happy where you are and you're going to get yourself happy. You're whatever it takes. And for me, that was completely abandoning everything that I had worked so hard for. I had worked for 25 years in my business to get to this point, and I got there and it was like, okay, I'm good. I want to do something else now. And I ended up speaking to my mentor, and I had a calling to go in a different direction professionally, and everything just kind of came to a head at the same time. And I had been unhappy in my marriage, and I've made videos of me just talking like a video diary all the time. And looking back now, I was just extremely unhappy, but I couldn't blame anyone else. It was me. Like, it was just something that I knew that I had to fix. So when I made that decision and went in that direction, it was really rough. I was very isolated. I stayed in my room. I don't even want to say depressed. I just had to go within myself, and I had to go spend a lot of time with myself and break myself open and kind of figure out what exactly I wanted for myself. I knew that from past relationships that I had. I have been married and divorced before. So I have already been through the part of the guilt of ending a marriage, the spiritual aspect of that. So I had been divorced several times before, but with this one, it was like, okay, I have to figure out what the common denominator is in all of these unhappy relationships. And I realized that it was me. And that was during that time that I spent by myself after I had, kind of threw a bomb into my life pretty much. But it was worth it. I spent a year, or actually 2 years in that apartment, and it was basically like starting over from scratch. I went from making six figures down to pretty much paycheck to paycheck. So it was literally just starting all over from scratch. And I think that made me really open my eyes to what I was really capable of, you know? So I think that's, as women, when we make that decision, we're afraid of what's going to come next. We're afraid of making the wrong decision. So we just stay kind of stuck. But on the other side of fear is everything that you could have possibly imagined and more, you know? So I think it's a great testament to just trusting yourself and following your heart and, you know, doing whatever you need to do to make yourself happy.
Absolutely. And it is isolating. That first, I know it can feel a bit like, whoa, I'm single, I'm free, this is amazing. You do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reality starts to bite. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree.
And yeah, I've got to work through this. And I know for myself, I started to miss pieces of my old life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I was only missing the familiarity. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
missing, you know, and certain things that would happen at a certain time of day. It wasn't necessarily that I was missing the person. It was missing parts of my old life.
Right.
And for our audience out there, Amy, I think a lot of women can resonate with that. This is my life. This is what I know. This is why I'll stay here. The familiarity of staying here is easier and more comfortable than branching out or having a go, as we say. However, that will keep you small. That's what I learned in my press. That will keep you small. That will keep you not achieving what you want to do.
Right.
And knowing your strength and your courage, as you did, to build a business for 25 years and then decide, well, it's time to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
There's just different parts of you that you don't know, and that's what becomes so beautiful about this journey is the different parts of yourself you didn't know before.
Right.
Do you think that's something that you found along your journey as well?
Definitely. When I turned 40, I think that's when I really started to prioritize myself. And like as women, we feel guilty because, as you were talking about before, we put everyone else first. We are pouring into everyone else, whether it's kids or our relationships or families. And that's just our nature as women. We're caretakers. We want to help people, but we don't realize that every time we're pouring into other people and we're not pouring back into ourselves, we're eventually going to deplete ourselves so much that we don't have anything else to give. And that's where burnout comes from, and just shrinking ourselves down and just, becoming just, we don't know who we are. And when I turned 40, I had recently come out of that toxic relationship, and I realized I need to put myself first. I have to love myself before I let anybody else attempt to love me. So I started doing nicer things for myself. I went on solo dates and things like that. And I used to be someone who did not enjoy my own company. I felt like I had to be around other people all the time. But I spent that time really sitting with myself and meditating and journaling and just kind of like rediscovering who I was, and parts of me I reconnected with from my younger years, and parts of me I discovered that I didn't know parts about myself. And so it was just kind of fun going through this process, and just learning how to love myself was probably the biggest gift. And that's a lot of what I share with other people. It's like, whether they're going through a breakup, divorce, anything like that, and they're by themselves, and they maybe aren't used to that. Maybe they're used to always kind of jumping from one relationship to the next, or just having, some kind of external validation or external, comfort. It's really taking the time to kind of sit with yourself and spend the time with yourself and learn yourself all over again. That's actually the fun part that people don't really understand until you're actually like in the middle of it.
And what about if it's not fun? There's periods where it can be uncomfortable and prickly and, oh, I want to avoid that. Let's go around it and under it and over it. But we have to go through it because that, as we all know, the old saying is growth comes from stepping out of our comfort zone.
Absolutely.
That's the same. You journaled, you meditated, and you gave yourself the time, your soul, to nurture your new way of life. And I think if we don't, for me, I exercised this morning. I did Pilates. Yesterday, I did aqua. And having that time makes us better people. And as you were saying, better to give, not from a place of depletion. And, that burnt chop syndrome where the wife always gets the last chop and it's burnt and everyone else has got the good chop.
Right.
And I really like what you were saying before about your mentor. Like when we mentor our clients, we need to come from a place of we're doing it. We're talking. We're not only talking the talk, but we're walking the walk. And I liked what you said earlier about your mentor being beside you. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? They guided you? Were they a few steps in front of you?
No, this particular mentor was a business mentor when I had my photography business, and it was just kind of a discussion that I happened to have with her about pivoting my business, going in a different direction, and I don't even think I mentioned to her about the marriage. I think my friends who were with me on that trip, we had some deep discussions where I just kind of vented and felt like I needed to make that decision, but. The mentor was really supportive as far as helping me brainstorm some ideas. But what was weird is when we first got to this conference, which was why I was in Italy, she said, some of you are here to scale your business. Some of you are here to do XYZ in your business. And then she said, some of you are here and you have realized that you don't want to do this anymore. And that was when I really felt called out because I didn't realize it until that moment. I hadn't actually named it or recognized it until she said that. And she was just talking to a room full of people. But I felt like I resonated with that more than anything. And so for that whole trip from then on, I was like, yes, I'm definitely doing this. I feel like that was a sign for me that it was okay to kind of make that decision and follow what I was being led to do.
So what is your role today other than your role in your family and you don't do your photography as such?
I don't do photography in the same way. I use it as a medium. What I have ended up doing for years, I had been building a platform that I wanted to kind of take my personal experience plus the experience that I had had working with my clients. And through my own journey, I created this system to help women go through life transitions, divorce, heartbreak, loss, all of the things that we typically or more commonly seem to go through during those midlife years. And for me, what worked amazingly for me was working with mindset and changing limiting beliefs and everything that I had kind of programmed in my head about myself and self-doubt and all of these things that I was dealing with mentally. And then self-care, which is prioritizing yourself and putting yourself first and taking yourself out on dates. And then the other part of that was creative expression. So I was using photography and hair and makeup and things like that I had used in the past 25 years as part of this kind of recipe to help women really take a journey of self-discovery and be creative and just kind of fall into the rabbit hole of learning how to bring out that inner sparkle that they might have lost. And through these 3 pillars, I experienced an amazing transformation, and I had kind of weaved this into my experience with my photography clients previously. So I had kind of been testing it and ultimately kind of solidified this idea that I had many, many years ago. And now I'm leaning on that and going in that direction with kind of helping women go through these life transitions. So it's kind of come full circle. And I love that, like what you were talking about earlier, as far as mentoring and talking to other people who are going through this time. I think it's important that you speak from experience. You're walking the walk and demonstrating and being a good role model for what we're sharing, how to help other women go through the same process.
Absolutely. And my eyes just went when you used the word, and I want to go back because the audience will see this, because my eyes went like this when you said recipe. Because it sounds like you're pouring the magic ingredients into not a bowl, but you make potion, make, I don't know what the correct word is at the moment, is that you were calling it a recipe. And I love that, because through your creative expression, as you were saying, and many years of photography, and you've come out with these 3 pillars, and they're pillars of strength. And if you look at pillars, pillars hold ideas, hold structure.
Right.
It doesn't have to be rigid. It can be creative. It can be fluid. It can be amazing. And that's why I love that word recipe. And I think for the women that were at home listening, when this goes to air, if they were doing their dishes or that, it's a recipe. It's about building and the pillars and forming that foundation and structure. And that's what you've been doing through your gathering of life experience, professional experience, and so on. I love that recipe.
Yeah,
love
thank
you. Yes. I can't wait to see how your recipe turns out.
Yeah.
And you must be enjoying it immensely.
Oh, I love it. It's like you said, it's fluid. It's, creative. It's a way for, women to, and I'm teaching a lot about self-portraiture too. So it's not even me photographing clients anymore. It's just teaching them how to take their own portraits so that they feel more confident. They feel more confident in front of the camera. They feel more confident in how they show up to the world and how they dress. And it doesn't even require them to, it doesn't require this whole transformation like this makeover. It's not an external type of thing, but it's just a medium to help them kind of visually see the person and who they want to be. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. And after working on it for so long, it's good to kind of get it to where it feels stable, where it feels like everything's clicking and it's making sense. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So
I love it because it's a way for women and for this show, the name unplug, so to speak, from that conditioning of what we're meant to do, look like, be to everybody, or how we're meant to present, or how we're meant to look. It's a way of expressing yourself, how you're finding yourself, or how you found yourself, or you might be on the journey to finding yourself. Permission's not the right word, but it's giving yourself that, not permission. It's like, that self-acceptance to, I'm going to fuck it. I'm going to give it a go.
Absolutely. Right? Yep.
I'm going to give this a go. I want to give this a go. I don't need anyone else to say it's okay. I'm telling me it's okay.
Yes.
And I'm by going inwards, I'm also projecting what I'm finding about myself outwards.
Right.
So I love that word, those words, creative expression. This is me. This is the new me. Yeah, and, take it or leave it, babe.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Come on the ride or don't come on the ride.
Right. And I think it's really special for women in midlife too, because, I think, I've seen or read somewhere along the line something like your first 40 years are just preparation and learning. And then the second half of your life is like your second act. Like that's the time to really, create the life you want. And that's one of my big missions in my life, as well as like sharing it with other people, just trying to inspire other people to understand, you can literally create the life that you want. It's just deciding that you're worthy and deciding that that's what you want, and you can go for it. Like there's nothing stopping you except yourself.
It's like that second curtain, like those curtains have closed and then we're on
Yes.
to the second act. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a second act. That person that I was in that life has gone, and some people need to mourn her. Some people need to celebrate her. Everyone's different. And I think that's what I really like about celebrating women in our era is we're all individual. We're all got our own, story, our history, and we can move that into our future, and we have the ability to do that. And that, again, looking in, it keeps going back, resonating to your soul. What does your soul need? So then you can express yourself outwards.
Absolutely.
To the world, and having that courage to step out of your comfort zone. But it's interesting, Amy, because people say step outside your comfort zone. It's not really all that comfortable when you're in a toxic relationship or in a toxic environment, or you're not being yourself. So is it really stepping out of your comfort zone, or is it I'm ready to find the pieces of me that I've forgotten along the way or left or behind?
I think you just have to make the decision, and then the universe will open up the path for you. That's what I believe, because it's happened, and I've lived it. So.
And how long have you been living it now, Amy?
How long?
3 years. You said 3.
Yeah, about 3 years. And then before that, I was in that really rough, toxic relationship. So it's been a continuous growth, but I'm on the other side. I'm in a spot where I don't want to say I never expected to be, because this is where I wanted to be, but I'm very grateful for everything, the good and the bad, because it always leads you to where you're supposed to be.
What is it? It's either it's never a failure. It's, what's the saying? It's either you win or you learn.
Yes.
You don't lose, right?
I agree with that 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I really agree with that. So what does 2026 have for you ahead?
I am actually setting up to travel more. I'm actually downsizing, and my plan is to, in a month or so, move into a camper, and we're going to be traveling. And my goal is to kind of bring this on the road and speak more and visit. I'm also an aesthetics instructor, so I want to visit beauty schools and cosmetology schools and kind of share that, because the younger generation of women, as they, middle school, high school, I think that's where a lot of that is missing. A lot of the education is missing on teaching women about self-value and not seeking external validation, in other people or relationships, and just kind of looking within and understanding that that's where it starts, and just kind of planting that seed. So a lot of different ideas, but that's where I really want to focus is, speaking more and sharing my story.
I love that. And I love that you're wanting to go on the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I've been
my
wanting to
plan.
do it for a while, so I'm really excited.
And see some of the states. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I might make it to Sydney one of these days.
Yeah. And I was in the States earlier this year for a book launch. So
Oh,
I might
nice.
go over there. I might find you and we can do a duo.
Yeah, I love that. For sure.
Okay, Amy, as we wrap up this episode of Midlife Unplugged, the Fuck It Years, is there anything else you'd like to add, or I could give final question? Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to say, I just want to share with anybody who might be listening that, confidence is is courage with practice. And I know it might be scary to, yeah, I've said that for years.
That deserves a hello. Say it again, Amy.
Courage is just, I'm sorry, confidence is just courage with practice.
Oh,
Yeah. You just have to keep showing up. Baby steps, a little bit at a time, but you can get there. Yeah.
Oh, mic drop.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Absolutely. I love that. That is
Thank you.
so good. Absolutely. Confidence is just courage with steps, with practice.
With practice. Yep.
With practice. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Thank you so much, Amy. Everybody,
Thank you.
take that away. That's my takeaway from today. Boom. Boom, shakalaka, boom. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Amy. And
Thank you.
we look forward to seeing you all back here on the next episode of Midlife Unplugged, the Fuck It Years. That's a wrap on this episode of Midlife Unplugged, the Fuck It Years. If today's conversation lit something up in you, hit subscribe, share it with your midlife crew, and keep the conversation going. I'm Lara Portelli. See you next week for another raw, real, and unapologetic chat.